MashCorp's here with another video mock review. This time with Relic V4. I miss doing these. In any case, this is actually the fourth version of Relic. He had a V3 in between. The last version I posted, which was V2, obviously. He had a V3 in the middle there that I just never posted. I liked it. I mean, it was fine. I obviously updated it. But I just never ended up posting it because of busyness and stuff, whatever. I won't try to make excuses. But this is V4. This is the most updated version of it. And he's probably, well, he's obviously my favorite. And he's maybe the final version I'll have of him. But who knows? I mean, I've had 4 versions of him, so. He's actually one of the few MOCs I've had multiple versions of, like in succession. Like I'll have MOCs that they exist, and then I take them apart, and then I'll rebuild them later, and they'll obviously be better because I've gotten better at mocking in that interim, but I've never consecutively had a mock for this many versions as much as I had this guy. Maybe Ponua, the former form of him, but still, I'm not even sure if that's the case. But anyways, this is the 4th version. It solves a lot of the issues that I had with the other versions, and has a few minor characteral differences. The most important probably, or the most noticeable, is that he now has white skin. Initially he had like teal skin, which is really weird, and didn't end up working out because he didn't have enough teal pieces. But initially he had teal, and then he had silver, and then I think he still had silver in V3, and I think this is the first version with white. And I like it a lot more. It's a lot more stark, and like the silver was kind of like, you know, the way Lego does silver, it's like weird and multicolored, but I really like the way they did, or I really like the way this guy looks with the stark white and, you know, just the 2 colors. Well, 3 if you count the gold. Yeah, so let's just get into it. He's less take-apartable now, so I can't, especially in the legs, so I can't go over him as much in detail, but I can split him in half, at least, so we're going to start that. With the feet, again, this guy's all black, so that's always an issue. Focus. There we go. Oh, and then, of course, I bumped the tripod. Whatever. All right. The tripod, by the way, is a shoebox. Anyways, the feet, they're just the classic, like the Throwbot slicer foot, or the slicer head that I've been using for a foot for a while. And then he's got the black stopper in the back, just to fill up space. It's a pretty good foot because it adds a little bit of height without, like, I don't know, it adds height and makes him kind of a unique, gives him kind of a unique stance, because a lot of my other characters, they have very standard proportional lengths for all the limbs, and this guy's not an exception. But because of this, it gives him like a little bit of extra height over all the other characters, all other 6 of them within this height frame. So I think that's nice, and it's just a good solid foot. And as you can see, it's got that inverted connector where the ball is on the foot and then the connector's in the actual body. Much less room to swivel here. How packed in the leg is. And what you'll notice with the leg is it's much, I'm not in frame. That's better. Much more, hold on. All right, that's much better. I just had to rotate the shoebox, so my arms actually had somewhere to go. Anyways, much slimmer, which is something that I've had. I look back at old version like, oh my gosh, he's got these huge legs. Because, I mean, it's a self-mock, so I want it to be reflective of myself, and I do wear pretty slim-fitting jeans, so I thought the fact that the legs were so huge were kind of weird. But you can see, this is much slimmer. It's 4 across, it's its widest point right here. And it's 3 for most of it anyways. So I'm very happy with that turned out. Classic engine here on the front, some more detailing in terms of like piping here. See the sides, and then all the sides like coincide with the Hero Factory armor here really well. There you can see that. It just is really flat and looks good. On the back, you've got some more piping, you got some here, not Hero, what? Exoforce arms, just to fill in the gaps, and you've got the rubberized piece in here for friction. There's no more gold in the legs. I think I took out the gold actually in V3. I mean, it's still supposed to be a booster, but there's no longer actual like boost whatever in there. I don't know what to call it. Gold energy power, whatever. Anyways, upper legs, the same design I've had pretty much since the first version. It's such a good design, I think, in terms of getting the new Paro armor over the Metru stuff. I can go over. Oop, I can go over it again. You see, there's just a piece. You can see how that works. Yeah, feel free to use it. I'd love to see more people use it because I think it's a great design. Oh, and then inverted knees as usual. The one, I think this is an update. I don't think this is on the last one. Is I've got this little pipe. There we go. Pipe that goes around, or string that goes around there. That's supposed to signify a pocket watch because I really like watches, and for a long time I wore a pocket watch. Feel free to make fun of me because of that, but I don't really wear one anymore. I wear wristwatches. But anyways, I think that's just a cool thing because it's much easier to signify a pocket watch on a Bionicle MOC than it is an actual watch. So that's a pocket watch, and you can see it just clips on its waist, and you can come off, and you can hold it, which I sometimes pose it with. And then there's the front plate, which has also been there since the first version because I think it looks funny. If you don't get it, then you probably aren't old enough to get it, or shouldn't be. You're young enough that you shouldn't. I don't know. Whatever. It's a pretty obvious joke, I feel like. Anyways, the back. This actually waist has been much improved on since the last one. It still has the last one still had the little rubber thing that I used for the waist connection. But this one really smooths out a lot of the look, and I think it's just more solid, especially in like this part here. I just had like studs before, and then like a bar across here. But now with this new piece, it's like a circle, and it's got the two studs here, or the two axles here, really helped me like fill out this sort of area and make it more solid. So I'm very happy with how that turned out. All right, so that's the lower half. On the upper half, this is probably, well, it's easily the best body I've done for him. Probably the best body I've done ever for a character. Well, I don't know. Godfather's body is really cool, and so is Ringleader's to a degree. They're similar. I don't know, but I think this one looks really cool because it's got this slimming effect. It's like flows really well here on the front, on the sides. You can see there's a lot of greeble detail with like the guns and all the stuff here. So the light will catch. Yeah, you can kind of see that. Sadly, no heart light, which I really wanted to put on this guy because I think having a gold heart light, which is what the color his heart light would be, is really cool. But sadly, I couldn't really manufacture one into there. So, but yeah, this, as you can see, the body has the inverted connectors, got the hand connectors coming out for the shoulders, and then on the back, a couple things here. So first of all, there's the turbine engine, which I think I put in V2. Started with V2. It now sticks straight out instead of like curving down like the old ones did. Just because that's easier to build and it's more structurally sound. This whole like neck, the way this connects to the neck is crazy, but it's not worth taking apart. By the way, I just realized I do have building instructions for V3. It's like 700 something pictures. I'll see if I can put that together into something. But it's not even great building instructions in any case. Like, they're hard to follow because of how terrible my photography for it was. Anyways, like this, and then so he's got the huge turbine. He's got the three things. He's got two things here for his little wings. Or like, I really like these because they look like coattails when he's actually got them on, and then they fold out like this. But what's also really cool is I can actually remove them, and then there's like a little, see, a tiny piece that just replaces it, and that just makes it more compact and easier to handle. And I'm probably going to keep them like that for the rest of the review. Anyways, let's go on arms. Upper arms look pretty similar to the older ones. They're just a little bit larger. There's like this thing coming down, so it's just bulked out a little bit. It fills in more of the gaps. Like this little piece here, this slant piece I put to fill the gap between this tooth and this Technic piece, and just makes it look like one piece, which I think is cool. Lower arms I can still remove, so I'm going to. The lower arms are something that I've always struggled with this guy and getting them the way I want them to look, and these still aren't, I think, perfect. So if I was to rebuild anything, it'd probably be these. And I actually did try for like 4 hours to rebuild these, but no luck. Anyways, but I think these are pretty much the same as V2, give or take. So I got the Ignica armor here, little oval piece, white hands now. Now speaking of arms, in V2 and for a little bit of V3, he had these different forearms where you could like detach a forearm, and you give him like, there was like a flame one, and there was a, there's an orange one. I think there was one for like pretty much every element, was the idea. But I don't have any of those anymore. I took all of them apart. I actually built some new ones and took those apart in the time that I haven't posted this guy, which goes to show something. But, and I still like the idea. I just wasn't really able to really get it across the way I wanted to, because I felt like the aesthetic when I went from the upper arm to the lower arm didn't really work. So how I solved that is just by building a whole other arm. And now I only have two, a right one and a left one. And they do actually have corresponding masks, which is cool. And again, helps with that whole aesthetic thing. So this is the red one arm. It's like the war arm, I guess you could call it. And actually, why did I put it on? It's much easier to review if it's separate. Anyways, that's what look at it on the actual figure. What actually I had this design for a different character that wasn't even Bionicle. That was just like a drawing. But then I decided to build it into Bionicle. And this is what it looks like. It's got the same exact dimensions, 7 long, this whole deal here, long, whatever. And then it's just got a ton more armor. It's actually really heavy and kind of weighs him down, which is why I sadly can't display him with the arms very often. Oh, his hand's coming off. Whoop. Okay. As you can see in the upper arm, got a shin guard piece. I can take that off. Kind of get an idea of how that all is built. Little CCBS, I guess, is actually the proper term. Now that I think of it. Piece there. Simple connection there. This part's dead easy. On the back, he's got these two tankers, and then the lower arm's pretty beefy. Got a few system pieces to fill in the gaps. Little thing here, and then the hand. Just simple red and black hand. So that's one arm. And then the other arm actually uses one of my favorite colors. This is like a dark orange. See, for this mask. I have a ton of these, by the way. I could build like 7 arms based on different masks, which I might do. I know I want to do something with like the gold version I have of it. Anyways, back to arms. This is the dark orange arm, or I don't know. I think there's a better term for this color, but yeah. Upper build, pretty simple, just a couple of these, and then I have the Pterodax, whatever mask there. I kind of want to fill in this area here, but I don't quite know how, or I don't know the best way to do it. Maybe I'll just redesign this whole thing in a way to do that. I don't know. We'll find out. See what I do with that. The lower arm, got some scroll armor on the inside, another engine piece, and then the hand. And this is one of the, I think this is the only time really that I've used this way of like attaching the fingers. just because I don't know, I want this arm to be bulky, so that's what I did. Put that on. Boop. And then I'm going to remove his mask because we're going to look at the head. That's not in frame. Here. All right. Okay. So the head has also gotten some pretty major changes to it. It's still pretty much the same design of using Exoforce arms of the eyes. I forgot where I saw that first, but it does look really good, and it really fills in like the slits on the eyes for this. But it is all gold, and then I was able to use more of these like gold fang pieces as like hair, which I really like the look of. Filled in more in the back. And now it's all gold, which is nice because beforehand I had like this little sword that filled in this top piece, this piece right here. I had a golden sword and the hilt filled that in, and then it just had the silver sword jutting out, which I thought wasn't a huge deal, but I definitely like it better the way it looks here. And also it doesn't have just one spike jutting out, like it's more uniform. The only issue is that it doesn't want to stay together all the time because it's all pretty much connected by like one stud or less in this area right here. So it's very finicky in how it wants to attach that way. What's going on in the corner there? Alright, whatever. So I guess that... I can just put it back together here. That is Relic V4. Very, very happy with how he turned out. Definitely a great primary self-mock to have for myself. I now also, thankfully, finally have all 3 of my self-mocks pretty much completed. I can get a group photo here. Hold on. Alright, there we go. So you can see we have Relic in the middle, Baron on the side, and then, of course, the tertiary, I think that's how you pronounce that word, very rarely seen mash there. So yeah, definitely happy with all 3 of these, how all 3 of these guys turned out. And definitely happy with how this version of Relic has turned out. I'll see if I can try and get that to do up at some point. But yeah, I hope you guys like this version of the guy, and I'll see you guys next time.